Not always.
Most of the time.
Things happen.
Yes. I agree with you, Mataji, most of the time. Okay.
Yeah. Oh.
ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकाय चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः मुखं करोति वाचालां पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्यईश्वरम् नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी इति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी प्रसाद सतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तविंदा हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 नाम संकीर्तन की जय हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय 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 श्री सुनीता गौर प्रेमनंदी हरि हरि बोल की जय हरे कृष्णा. So we are going through this verse number 5, and one of the extremely important verse that talks about types of devotee. Krishneti yasya giri tam manas adriyeta. Krishneti yasya giri tam manas adriyeta. Diksha sati chet pratibhish च भजन्तमीशाम् शुश्रूषया भजन् विज्ञान अनन्यमन्य निन्दादिशून्यहृदम् इप्सिता सङ्गलब्धया इप्सिता सङ्गलब्धया कृष्णेति यस्य गिरि तं मानसाद्रियेत. The one who is in Kanishta stage, who are chanting, whose chanting is not perfected yet, they are chanting the name of Krishna. And the one who are in Kanishta stage, this line is teaching that we should mentally honor them. So Kanishta should be mentally honored. And Diksha, the one who has got initiated, and Bhajantam Isham, who is Isham here refers to Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, his deity form, is worshipping the deity form of Krishna. That person is Madhmadikari, and a Pranati Vihish, that person should be paid obeisances. Shushrusaya Bhajan, those person who are Anannamanya, unalloyed, completely undeviated in the process of bhakti, Ninda Adi Shunya, whose heart is free from the propensity of criticism, to such person we should seek the association from, and we should hear from them. Susru Ashaya, Susrusaya, going to that person means associating with that person, and with full honor, with due respect, we should serve and seek their guidance. So Kanishta Adhikari should be mentally worshipped, mentally honored. Madhma Adhikari, we pay the obeisances. But this verse is saying that we should seek the association of those devotees who are Uttama. And what is the quality of Uttama? Ananya Anyam Anya. Ananyam Anya. Without any deviation, unalloyed devotion to Krishna, and Nindadi Shunya, whose heart is free from the propensity of criticism. So then we went through this slide, and Prabhupada is commenting on this verse. And first word that is mentioned here is Shraddha, which is called
Mm.
faith. So Shraddha is the beginning and the basis of one's spiritual advancement. So bhakti, the very beginning stage of bhakti is that one has to have the Shraddha. Shraddha, then sadhu sangha, then bhajan kriya, then anartha nivritti. So Shraddha is very important, and from there bhakti begins. So Shraddhavan janna hai bhakti adhikari, uttam madhma kanishta Shraddha anusari. So these divisions of bhakti is based on their faith for holy name and faith in the process of bhakti. There is pastime in Chaitanya Charitamrita where Ramananda Rai is asking Mahaprabhu himself that who is Vaishnava? Mahaprabhu said the one who chants the name of Krishna, that is Vaishnava. Or who is advanced than that person? Oh, that person who always remember Krishna. So the person who always remembers Krishna, that person is advanced than the person who is chanting the name of Krishna. But the person, by looking at him, one will remember Krishna. That person is Utmadhikari. Oh, as soon as I start talking about somebody, oh, this person, he always talks about Krishna, 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 Krishna. See? So as soon as somebody talk about that person, oh, this person, all he does is bhakti. He's always, talking about Krishna. He's fully Krishnite, right? Just talking about that person. One is remember about devotional service. So that person is Uttama. So then we went through what are the distinction between neophyte and Adhikari. What are their quality? So I'm not going to go through it. We studied this slide in our last session. Archayam eva haraye pujam yah shraddhayate shraddha ayate shraddhayate natad bhakteshu chaneshu sa bhaktah parikritah asmritah. So Archayam eva haraye, the one who worship deity form. So if they are in the temple and if they are seeing deity, they can see, they can remember Krishna. But as soon as the person comes out of temple, now they cannot see the Krishna. So that type of worshipper is Kanistadhikari. Na tad bhaktesu chaneshu. And his behavior is not proper with the devotees. Why? Because he cannot see others' devotion, other devotion towards Krishna, or position of any other living entity. So Kanishta has faith in deity worship, but beyond deity, they can't see presence of Krishna. Kanishta cannot behave properly with devotee. So these are some of the symptoms.
Mm.
Sa bhakta prakrita smritaha. That type of devotion, that type of bhakta is called the Kanishta bhakta. The recommendation is that one shall not remain a Kanishta adhikari, but should raise to the higher stage, to the Madhmadhikari. You were saying something, Mataji? Okay. So then we'll hear about Madhmadhikari. Ishware tad adineshu baliseshu disatsu cha prema maitri kripa upeksha yakaroti sha madhyamaha. Very important. So Kanishta cannot see the position of a devotee and he cannot behave nicely with the devotee. But Madhma is not like that. Ishwaresu tad adineshu. He has respect for one who are worshipper of Lord. He would have prem for that person who is worshipper of Krishna, who are superior than him. He will have respect for him. Bali Sesu, Disatsucha, and the one who is like him, he will be friendly. So with equal, he will be friendly. With superior, he will have respect. Prema Maitri, Kripa Upeksha, Yakaroti sa Madhyama. And the one who are innocent, he will be merciful. So somebody who does not know about Krishna, but once you tell that person who Krishna is, what Krishna quality is, Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead, that person will believe or that person will show some interest to hear about it. He would not have envy. Why Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead? Why not that person is Supreme Personality of Godhead? Why not this? Why not that? So somebody who is innocent, he will be kind, merciful. And person who are envious, he would upeksha, he would discard, he will avoid that person. So these four qualities very, very important. Madhma, to superior, he will have respect. To equal, he will have friendship. To innocent, he will have compassion. And to fallen person, to person who have envy, person who have hatred towards devotional service, he will simply ignore. So that is very, very important to remember. Then the new topic that we are going to study today is Utmadhikari. Sarva Bhuteshu Yah Pashed Bhagavad Bhavam Atmana. Bhutani Bhagavati Atmani. Esa Bhagavato Utmaha. See the quality. This is the quality we should try to cultivate. Sarva Bhuteshu Yah Pashed Bhagavad Bhavam Atmana. She is within everything. So within everything, he will see that there is presence of Supreme Lord. So he is seeing Krishna everywhere. With Madhikari is seeing Krishna everywhere. You and I have certain quality, certain behavior pattern. It's all because there is presence of Krishna. And Bhagavad Bhavam. Bhavam, Bhagavad Bhavam. His his seeing is always in relation to Krishna. His bhav, his emotion is always in relation to Krishna. So anything he sees, he can connect with Krishna. Prabhupada was walking and he saw beautiful, cloud. He says Krishna might be like this cloud. You know, when somebody sees something very natural, very attractive, very beautiful, oh, see the person who has made this, how that person would be. If he has created something so beautiful, then how beautiful, how wonderful is that creator? So each and everything is reminding him the opulence of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he is seeing Krishna as soul of all the souls in all living entity. Sunicaiva Sopakecha Pandita Samadarshina, Bhagavad Gita says. It's dog or dog eater. The Uttama, the Pandita, he does not see any difference. He does not see the difference of the body. He sees that it's all presence of Supreme Lord. And everything that exists, it reminds him the presence of Supreme Lord. Bhutani Bhagavati Atmani. He understands that everything that is existing is eternally coming from the Supreme Lord, Maya system. This whole Srishti that is being created, Krishna says, it's coming from me. So he can see that everything that is existing, Namaste
Oh,
Purushotwadiyam, Ishware Prakrite Param, Alaksham Bhutanam, Antarbahar Avasthitam. My dear Lord, please accept my humble obeisances.
no,
You are Alaksham Bhutanam, nobody can see you. But Antarbahar Avasthitam, you are inside and outside. Everything that is existing, it exists because of your presence. So that is Utmadhikari. Right? He cannot see. And that is why Utmadhikari cannot preach. Because he does not see absence of Krishna anywhere. He cannot see that there is nobody who is not engaged in Krishna consciousness activity. This is very high and very high understanding, high insight. So he says that how this person is already engaged in Krishna consciousness. So that is why one has to come to the stage of Madhma. Because Madhma has this sight of distinction. Depending on who that person is, the Madhma Adhikari can behave with that person accordingly. So all of these 4 points you have to remember. The Madhma, loves, be friends, he ignores, and he will, he be compassionate. He becomes compassionate. So this four thing, this discrimination can be seen by Madhyamadhikari. Uttmadhikari, he cannot see because he is Mahabhagavat, a self-realized and devotee who is unalloyed, who has no other desire. And his association is most desirable. And then it says that one should not try to imitate the Uttama Adhikari. Don't imitate. Don't, even if one imitate, one cannot act like a Utmadhikari. And then Brahmanda Brahmitte Kono Bhagyavan Jeev Guru Krishna Prasade Paya Bhakti Lata Bij. Uttama Bhakta is the cause of spiritual perfections in bhakti. So with their service, if we get the opportunity to serve Uttmadhikari, by their service we receive all the perfection. So whenever we see our spiritual master or the mood that we take towards our spiritual master is basically that mood. That your spiritual master is Uttmadhikari. In previous verse, we read that commentary. Prabhupada says that Guru should be Uttmadhikari. And if we serve Uttmadhikari, then we are getting perfected. And Uttmadhikari is another very important point. They are so powerful they, that they can even convert the most fallen person in Vaishnavism. When Mahaprabhu was walking through the forest of Jharkhand, and when he chanted the name of Krishna, all animals in the forest, they also started chanting. So somebody will ask, what is the example that most many fallen soul will become Vaishnava? The example is already given. That when Mahaprabhu was walking, when he chants, all the living entity, doesn't matter what body they have, they all will chant name of Krishna. Wow. And then Uttmadhikari is qualified to be Guru. Kanishta and Madhma Vaishnava may also accept disciples, but such disciples cannot advance very well towards the ultimate goal of life because Kanishta and Madhma cannot give sufficient guidance. So Uttmadhikari who are pure, he can give the guidance, and through his guidance, just by his association, looking at his behavior, the way he does things, other will become Vaishnava. Kanishta and Madhma, since they are not very experienced in Krishna consciousness, they cannot even make their disciple become very advanced because they cannot guide, they cannot give sufficient guidance on the process of bhakti. So, different types of Vaishnava, we'll start reading from here. So, can somebody read? It's just the reading we have to do. This is Prakrit Sahijya, Sahajiyas.
I can read.
Yes, Prabhu, please read.
Okay. Prakrit Sahijyas. Chant Hare Krishna, but are not purified. Okay. Prakriti Sajya chant Hare Krishna, but are not purified. They are attracted to women, money, and intoxication. They may be respected within the mind, but their association should be avoided.
So,
Ah,
you'll see that, you'll see that, Bala, Bala, there are so many splits from the core teaching of Mahaprabhu, and they will dress up like a Vaishnav, but then they believe that there is no difference between men and women. We all are Gopas and Gopis. They will engage in the Raslila pastime, you know, and they will do intoxications and everything because they think that all we have to do is to realize that we are Gopas and Gopis. We are associates of. So their bhakti is that accept that we are bhaktas and act like a bhakta, pretend, imitate. Prakrit Shahajiya. Sahajiya means the one who takes easy path, easy going, easy going process, not following the four relative principles, not getting up in the morning, not chanting the name of Krishna, nothing. They think that, just start the bhakti from uh, spontaneous devotion, Raganuga bhakti we call it. We start from there. So these are the people whose association should be avoided. Okay, we don't start our bhakti at Raganuga stage. We are Vyadi Sadhaka, Vyadi Bhakta, and Vyadi comes from the word Vidhi, and Vidhi means rules and regulations. Yes, Prabhuji, please.
Yeah. Innocent people who are simply carried away by bad association should be shown favor if they are eager for enlightenment from pure devotees.
Hmm. So innocent people should be shown compassion, which is Madhmadikari's quality. But that compassion should be only if we can see that if the person has desire to perform pure devotion. If not, then that compassion to the innocent people is not needed. Neophytes, yes, Prabhu.
Neophyte devotees who are initiated by a guru and carrying out the guru's orders should be accepted as Vaishnavas and offered respectful obeisances.
That's Madhmadikari, yes, Prabhu.
One who utters Krishna even once is interested to chant Krishna's names and is trying to advance in bhakti must be accepted as a Vaishnava and is to be offered respects at least within the mind.
So what is that type of who has to be respected by the mind?
One who is
Kanishtadhikari.
interested.
So one who utters Krishna's and who has uttered Krishna's name, with Nama Abhash or Nama Aprad, but that person is trying to advance in the bhakti. That person should be given respect by mind. So one who utters Krishna even once, that segment is talking about Kanishta. The top one is talking about Madhma. Last one, Prabhu.
Last one. By trying to serve Krishna seriously and without duplicity, we can expect the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, who is Patita Pavan, the deliverer of the fallen.
Yeah. So recommendation is that we should not have duplicity. And if we follow, duplicity means not following the teaching of Shastra.
Mm,
You know, knowing something and behaving something, or knowing the value system and swabhav that we say, swabhav and value system.
mm,
One's behavior and the value system that we have is not matching.
mm,
So if one does not have this duplicity, and this duplicity will go away only when we are really serious for Krishna,
mm,
then conclusion is that type of bhakta will be qualified to receive the higher stage of their consciousness. They will be promoted or they will be elevated to a higher stage of consciousness. So it's very important to align with the teaching. One's behavior, Prabhupada is concluding, one's behavior should align with their value system. Okay, Prabhu, you can read out this segment quickly.
The Vaishnava Diksha part. Okay.
Yes.
The Vaishnava Diksha by a guru is the process by which a devotee attains transcendental knowledge, Divya, destroys material desires, and becomes attached to Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu.
Surrender. At the time of Diksha, when one fully surrenders to Krishna's service, Krishna accepts such a devotee to be as good as himself. Chatamrit 34192. Prerequisites 1. Disinterest in material enjoyment and mundane inquiries. 2. Readiness to practice austerity, celibacy, mind, and sense control. Srimad Bhagavatam 6:1-13. 3. Inquisitiveness to understand the absolute truth, Jigyasu Shreya Uttamam, and a desire for spiritual enlightenment from a guru. One should not accept a guru without following his instruction or to make a fashionable show of spiritual life. Results. Gradually one becomes results. Gradually one becomes 1. Disinterested in material enjoyment, and 2. Interested in spiritual life.
So basically, the last part, once Prabhupada said here that one should be serious without the duplicity, then one can accept the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then that process is given here. Tadvedi panipatena paripastana sunya updeshanti te ganams ganes tatudarsina. That's the basically verse here. In different way, it's being translated. So what is the process to receive? Prabhupada further enlighten us that one should get the initiation. And what is the initiation? Diksha kale shishya kare atma samarpana. At the time of initiation, the disciple basically accepts Krishna as Supreme Personality of Godhead, and then he tadvidi panipatena paripasana sunya updachanti te gyanas gyanis tatu darshana. Under the guidance of a spiritual master, he tries to cultivate the higher consciousness. And the sign, in fact, the advancement of bhakti, the sign of advancement in bhakti, there are 6 symptoms. We'll talk later, but only 2 of those are mentioned here, which is kind of summary that sign of the advancement is detachment from the material enjoyment. So detaching Krishna Sambandha Vijnane, whatever is important to develop the relationship, that knowledge which is related to develop the relationship with Krishna, that that person will be intended to acquire that knowledge, and he will be detached, disinterested with things which are for the sensual pleasure. So finally, this verse is teaching us that we should aspire to be Uttmadhikari, or at least come to the stage of Madhmadhikari. Have these 4 qualities. Better if we can come to the stage of Uttmadhikari. Kanistadhikari definitely should try to promote oneself to the stage of Madhmadhikari. So then I would like to ask you, what is the practical application of this teaching to us? What we are going to do after knowing this? Can somebody start sharing? What are some of the benefits that we get by knowing this teaching? Who is Kanishta, who is Madhma, and who is Uttama?
It may help us in the preaching to understand who are
Okay,
innocent.
so it will help us in preaching. Okay, one point. What else? There are many points.
Yeah, many points.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
It helps us to grow from one stage to another. Means it will help us to understand where
Yes.
we are and how
Yes.
we can go to the next step. Hare Krishna.
Yes. This is very important for us to do introspection, Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasnam. So we are in the process of devotional service. We are engaged. Shravanam here refers to engaging in the Bhadi Bhakti process. And as we are engaged in the Bhadi Bhakti process, we have to introspect that where I stand on the domain of bhakti, on the ladder of bhakti, where exactly I am. And these are the markers, we say. These are the standard that is given by scripture to decide where we are. Mananam, to do introspection to find out where we are. And also, if we are sufficiently qualified, Kanista cannot basically see the position of other devotee, other person. So when we are preaching, as Prabhu said, and we want to know others, if you are Madhyamadhikari, then you can see others' position. Oh, this devotee is very serious. He or she is very serious about services, doing their things very seriously. But if one is not sufficiently advanced, then one cannot see. So seeing is not very easy also. Seeing comes on one's advancement. Advanced devotee can see the advancement of other devotee. If I am not advanced, I cannot see how advanced you are. Oh, a person, this is that, this is that. You will see material quality. And next verse will teach us that one should not see the material quality of a person. Rather, if you are advanced, then you should see a spiritual quality. So 2 points, preaching application, and then mananam. What else? Is there anything else that we are learning from these verses? Anything else?
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah. Yes,
So,
Mataji.
what I learned personally is like, no introspecting our own position, as Prabhu said already. And then also, like in the family, you should where they are and um,
Mm.
how to behave with them. If
Okay.
we think like a neophyte, as a neophyte, we think that we know a lot and we try to preach them, which is where they are not in the receiving end, they are not in the receiving mood, then it becomes a very difficult situation in the
Mm.
household.
Yep. So every
So our
morning,
preaching ability.
every morning we chant 10 offenses, and ninth one it is also offense to preach a faithless person. So as a preacher, after certain endeavor or attempt that we make to understand somebody, you should be able to see, okay, this person does not have really faith. Doesn't matter how much you do, ultimately it will, you know, turn into making that person more offensive towards Krishna. So you will tell them worship Krishna. I'll say, who is Krishna? I don't know Krishna. Why should I worship Krishna? It's all offense. You know, somebody saying like that, it's offense. So you should be able to understand others also. Yeah, it's allies, you know, it's aligned with what Manar Prabhu was saying, that you know it helps in the preaching activity, but it also safeguard your devotion. You have to safeguard yourself, and you can safeguard only when you understand the limitations, that how much I have to make attempt to make somebody devotee, how much I should try. And Prabhupada said in one of the purport of Srimad Bhagavatam, everybody is making their own journey and flying their own plane. So ultimately, we have to see, you know, and don't too much interfere also in somebody's life if somebody is not ready to take. And that part can be done very nicely in Atmadikari. Very nicely. He can very nicely do that. Right away he can figure it out. Okay. So here is how I have to act with this person, and then he can position himself. Yes. Anything else? I would like to little bit hear more on this verse, Uttam Adhikari. What else we have? What else you all have learned from this verse?
One should not imitate Uttamadhikari.
Never ever. Yes, it's very important in the bhakti to be who you are. Okay, it's very, very. It says that being very, you know, natural. I use the word natural. Being very natural in your devotional service. You know, very realistic, not pretending. I am the way I am. Here it is. You know, this is how I am. You know, so I'm not pretending to be something else which I'm not. Yes, no imitate, because imitation does not last. Even if you imitate, but if you have not developed that natural quality, that imitation would not last. Okay, what else?
Understanding the position of the Uttama Adhikari, and that he is so elevated, we should not be uh, we should not try to commit any offense against them.
Yeah, also be, at least if you cannot do much, don't do offense towards Utmadikari. Yep. Yes, no offense towards Utmadikari. Not try to do offense against Utmadikari. Okay, anything else before we move to the next verse? I just want to hear one more point. This is
Yeah,
verse number
Mataji was
6.
talking about preaching at home. So I think we should not, I mean, explicitly preach. We should just, through our good behavior, we should preach.
Right, you know, you have to understand what exactly is in your surrounding, and if you are living with an innocent person, then you can be compassionate. If you are living with envious, then you have to try to avoid. Avoid means don't engage in the Krishna consciousness discussion. Don't try to convince somebody. Yes. Know the limitations. Otherwise, it will be, fired back.
Prabhuji, in that previous slide, you have the definition of. Can you go back to that one? So, no, one more. Yeah, this one. So here, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu classified the gradation of Vaishnavas. Kanishta one who has chanted Harinam just once. Madhyama, one who has constantly chants Harinam. And Uttama is one at the mere sight of whom others automatically begin chanting Harinam.
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, looking at this definition, one who is constantly chants Harinam. So, if I'm not chanting Harinam constantly, then I'm Kanishta, right? Uh, and then Uttama. So, if a person constantly chants Harinam, then isn't he Uttama also? Like, I mean, no?
Yeah, yeah. The person, the Uttama is, Saranam, Satataya Vasmartaya Vishnu, Vismartavana Jatasut. So Uttama does not have even a minute or fraction of second when they have forgotten Krishna. So yes, Uttama Adhikari is also chanting, but Uttama has more quality than just only
In
chanting.
addition to that, they have a great power to influence
Oh
others.
yeah, yeah. They have fully studied the Shastra. They know the scripture. They can they can convince other the essence of Shastric teaching. They can preach other. But Madhmadhikari cannot, you know, he can preach, but he cannot convince everybody. So Uttmadhikari has additional more qualities than uh, Madhuma. And these definitions, if you remember last time, I said that these definitions are in different contexts defined differently. In context of sense control, Kanishtas are one who does not have sense control. Madhmas are one who have sense control, but he would avoid getting into association of such a scenario or environment where his sense control may be challenged. You know,
Hmm.
he might start, thinking that is it right or wrong. So it's not form sense control. Uttama has full sense control. Doesn't matter, where that person is. Wherever you leave that person will have no impact. Prabhupada. He came to America, he would see all these people coming, some fully dressed, some not fully dressed. Whatever way they come, all he saw is soul. All
So,
Madhmadhikari, there are devotee who goes, who went to preach in Western country and they become Western, they went as a sannyasi and they came, in pant and shirt with tie. So,
they got preached.
right, they got preached. So in sense control there is one definition. Then there is another definition in Sastric understanding. Kanishta Adhikari does not have much of Shastra understanding. Madhmadhikari have studied Shastra, but he cannot fully convince everybody. He is fully convinced. He himself is convinced, but he cannot convince everybody. But Udma has studied Shastra, he's convinced himself, and he can convince anybody. So likewise, there are different definitions. This definitions is given in context of chanting the holy name. So Kanistadhikari is the one who had chanted Hari Nam just once. Means his chanting is Nama Aprad. And Madhmadhikari are the one who is constantly chanting the name of Krishna, but his name is also not Sudhanam chanting. That Nam is still has, it's very close to, it's higher than Nama Bhash, but the chanting is still not pure. Sometimes he can be purely chanting, sometimes he can chant impurely too. And you know, I can see my chanting sometimes is purely, sometimes impurely, depending on what's going on. But Uttmadhikari is always purely calling out the name of Krishna, always. So by looking at them, oh, this person oh, is Paka devotee. One will remember Krishna. So these terms have been defined in Nectar of Instruction. You will hear the same thing in Upanishad also. You will hear that in Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, discussion between Uddhav and Krishna. Krishna is giving their definitions there too. And you will hear the same thing in Chaitanya Charitamrita. And you will hear some slight distinction in the definitions. I just want to let you know that those definitions are based on the context.
Prabhu, in today's day and age, I mean, are there any Madhyamadhikaris or Uttamadhikari? I feel that
Mostly
everybody will
Madhyamadhikari.
fall under
Uttmadhikari
Kanishta.
Madhyamadhikari is, I would say that most of the devotees in our society today who are little serious and uh, doing bhakti seriously, they are mostly in Madhya stage. Madhya or somewhere close to Uttama. There are Uttmadhikari too, yes. Yes, there are Uttmadhikaris too. There are many Uttmadhikaris. Yeah, Prabhu. There are many sannyasis in India. They have Bal Brahmachari, like somebody, I'm being recorded, but I think I can rather some Prabhu type of devotee, They are, I see him as, very exalted personality, very pure. Yes, so these personalities are still on this planet. People who have just started Krishna consciousness have not formally, started doing everything, have not taken initiations and all of that. They are Kanishta. They're not necessarily, he might be, Madhma, but at least, you would see that Shraddha is there. Occasionally, the name of Krishna is being chanted. The faith is building up. So, Madhma and Uttama are in the societies today. Yes, Prabhu. And here's the thing, if you become Uttama Adhikari, you know what will happen? You know what will happen? Everybody will appear to you as Uttama.
Oh.
Narottam Thakur is
Prabhu,
writing, yeah,
oh, it's a very difficult situation. If you're Kanishta, you don't know who others are, who you are.
yes.
If you're Uttama, you also don't know who others
No,
are.
and Madhma know who is who, but
Who is who?
Uttama is seeing only Krishnas.
So can the Madhyama help us categorize all the devotees, mark them as
So like
just
for
kidding.
example, since you are asking, so for example, a Uttama Adhikari cannot be manager.
Hmm.
A Uttama Adhikari cannot function as a manager.
I get it.
He
Yeah.
has to come down to the stage of Madhma Adhikari. Although he
Right.
is Uttama Adhikari, he is retaining all the quality of Uttama Adhikari,
Right.
but he has to bring him down to deal with the people.
Hmm.
So you should also not see somebody, if somebody is engaged in managerial activity, you have to know that this person may be Uttmadhikari, but for sake of service, he has come down.
Come down.
So because Uttmadhikari does not correct anybody. Uttmadhikari does not do anything. He will just say, oh, you all are good, all great, all are. He cannot discriminate. But manager has to have some degree of discrimination.
But if that person is given a duty to discriminate, why will they not discriminate? So I mean to say, if they are tasked to do that.
Yeah, he will not accept.
Oh.
He will say that I
Or
don't
he'll
want to.
come
There are
down.
many,
Come down.
in his sannyasi, there are many sannyasi in ISKCON who never came to the managerial role. Being recorded here. They said that no, I don't want to be part of all this thing. Why? Because they knew that they will have to deal with things which might not be pleasant. But that doesn't mean that if somebody who is doing managerial service is not Utmadhikari.
Right, right.
So you have to respect, somebody's position very carefully. Madhma can see this person is very advanced. This person is very, spiritual. But he or she is doing like that because of this, service. So Uttama Adhikari, another thing I also wanted to tell you, Uttama Adhikari can act as a Madhma Adhikari, but Madhma cannot act as a Uttama Adhikari. That's another thing. So Uttama Adhikari can come down and serve as a Madhma, can act as Sudra, but he can go back to his original position too. But Kanistha cannot pretend to be Madhma, cannot pretend to be Uttama. Madhma cannot pretend to be Uttama. Okay? So Brahmin can act as a Kshatriya, can act as a Vaishya. But Vaishya cannot act as a Kshatriya or Brahmin because he doesn't know what is a Kshatriya and Brahmin quality. So
That's interesting.
Brahmin has a quality. An example is given, uh, Parshuram. Parshuram acted as Kshatriya, but he is, Brahmin. He's born in a Brahmin family and all of that. So like that. So Brahmin can, so higher conscious person for service can come. Prabhupada is Uttama but he engaged in the preaching activity. Preaching activity can be done by Madhmadikari. So one should not think that Prabhupada is Madhmadikari because he preached, because he was dealing with, he was acting as a manager, he was counting the dollar, he was building the temple, itaya ki nahi, cement is where is cement and all of that thing he was doing. How many temple is there? You go there, do this all the time, somebody ask. What is the difference between you and I? Prabhupada says, I am doing it for Krishna. You are doing it for your sense gratification. So Uttama can come down to the platform of Madhma to deal with the people. You know, if he will be put into the association of a Kanishta, he cannot. He can deal with them, but Madhma will be at his position. So these are some of the. I wanted to hear some of these practical applications also. So being Uttama Adhikari is the topmost desire. We should desire to be Uttama Adhikari. If not Uttama, at least to the stage of Madhma.
About this, what we are saying, Uttama Majjhima, the way they behave, the a person have those qualities in particular thing, right? Sometimes Majjhima is the one who is getting towards to Uttama, right, Prabhu? So he may not completely Uttama, but he might have some of the qualities. Some of the things where he is improving. Then why can't we say Majjhima is acting in those angles at least as a Uttama, but still he is Uttama only. Completely he is not Uttama.
The
But
transformation is there, but
yeah,
it's talking about imitation. Yes, in the process of, so this is not a discrete adhikar. That's what you are saying, right? It's a continuous function. It's not a
yeah,
discrete function. It's like now 1, 2. There is infinite many number between 1 and 2, right? So it's not like that 0, 1, 2. Kanishta
yes,
is
Prabhu.
0.
Because no,
It's
no,
it's
no.
a it's a
Yeah.
continuous process. So you are right. Kanishta is at the stage where he's trying to develop the quality to be Madhma. Madhma is at the stage where he's developing the quality to be Uttama. But we are talking about imitation. Madhma should not, unless and until he is qualified to act as a Uttama, should pretend to be Uttama. Now you are saying that when Madhma is getting into Uttama quality, some part of his quality is transferring to the Uttama quality. He's transforming into the Uttama quality. So whatever quality has transformed as a Uttama quality, he'll behave like that. On that, for that particular quality, he'll behave like that. Like for example, truthfulness.
Yeah.
You know, he will. Uttama doesn't matter. Somebody comes and chop his head. He would be truthful. Madhma can adjust. Madhma can say, "Oh, life danger. It is very dangerous." So he will say, "Okay, lower principle is this, higher principle is that. So for higher principle, Manusmriti says that one should save one's life. Okay, so I'll take this principle and I can save my life, and I can say that whatever. Kanishta Utma will say, will you accept? Kill me, kill me. So likewise, there are many quality. So in that transformational process, there are certain quality that if Uttama has developed as Madhama has developed as Uttama, then he can depict that quality. But this is not the isolated band. It's continuous spectrum.
Last point, maybe, Prabhuji, one more. So
Yes,
you distinguished all these categories, Uttamam, Kanishta, and Madhyama, on various different categories. You said about chanting, you said about um,
sense control,
sense control. You also mentioned
scripture.
scripture. Um, and also, you had one more point about surrender,
Yeah,
right, in this slide.
yeah.
So, the level of surrender will also be different.
Oh,
In
oh my gosh. In fact,
Yeah,
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's Haridas Thakur, you remember?
yeah,
Yeah. When it comes to degree of surrender, Haridas Thakur, he had prostitute whole night with him, right?
right.
Right? What happened?
The prostitute became devotee.
Yeah, that's what Madhikari can do. Okay. Madhmadhikari may decide to stay there or may decide to leave. Okay. Madhma may decide that, it's okay, I can change this person. Or Madhma may say that, it's better for me to go away. I don't want to interact. I don't want to associate with this person. But Kanishta will fail. Oh, such a, nice women. There is nobody around. Things like that. So this is all like that. You got it?
Yeah, yeah.
So Uttamadhikari, you know, doesn't matter what situation one is put into, they will say, oh, it's all my Lord. It's all, Krishna is asking me. Krishna is testing me. My dear Lord, you were testing me. Let me tell you, I'm not going to fail. you know. And he will chant more, okay, Hare Krishna, Krishna, with full enthusiasm. Why you are testing me. That's why it says, Utsaha Dharya Nisa Tatat Karma Pravartanat. This Utsaha, Dharya, and Nisha, conviction, this this is another symptom of advancement also. A person who have higher consciousness, they will have more conviction, faith, more enthusiasm that my dear Lord will protect me. He will help me. So yes, Prabhu. Should we start the next verse or it's too late now? It's I see 12:14. We can take one more questions if anybody has. I can stop sharing the screen.
Prabhu, any thing related to the exam?
Well, thank you for giving the exam. I think I looked at it and few of you have not uh, answered every question, but that's fine. At least it's not expected. That is 50%, 60%, 80%, 90%. Any score that you get. So I noticed that some of the questions were not answered, but overall I think everybody did good. I have to get some time to evaluate it, but just looking at, I always look at the exam right after the examination, exam paper, and I felt that you all have studied and taken the exam very seriously. So thank you for doing that. It's service for it's all service. That's all our services. You have to do everything in the mood of a service. Me teaching as a servant. You receiving this course, doing this course as a servant. That's the essence. Whichever way possible, we are taking the opportunity to remember Krishna,
Yeah,
not
thank
forget.
you for taking this long Bhakti Shastri course. It's more than 2 years now. You're continuing.
Really, it became 2 years?
uh, Almost, I guess.
Is it 2 years? I don't think so. If it's 2 years, then I
Uh,
have to expedite it.
uh, I'll
I think
have
it
to
should be
check out.
year, 1 year, 2 months, something like that. I can look at your application form. If that long, then I think I need to make it faster.
I'll check on the dates. The first communication we had, but yeah, I think it's close to 2 years.
You want me to go faster then?
I don't know about others. Yeah, we can go a little fast. I mean,
Is it okay, everybody? Should we take 2 verse every day? Huh? See?
Oh, yeah, I think we can do that. Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, you can do faster? Huh?
Yes, Prabhu, yes.
Well, for me, the pace is good because
okay.
I'm a little bit dull, so it helps
It's
to
very much
absorb.
on what makes you. I mean, I can go to the second verse very quickly. Okay, let's read the second verse and then we'll jump. दृष्ट स्वभाव जनतर वपुष्य दोषर नापारकृतवम इह भक्त जनस्य पश्येत् गंगा भसम च खलौ बुध बुध फेन पंकैर बुध भूद फेन पंकैर ब्यूटीफुल ब्रह्म द्रवतम अपगच्छति नीरधर्मे. So let's see now, correct ourselves after reading that verse. From an ordinary vision, a devotee might have some defect in their nature, okay,
Hmm.
or in their body. So, ordinarily, when we look at a devotee, we might see some defect, or we might see some bodily defects or defects in their behavior. Here is the important teaching. But one should not see a pure devotee from such a materialistic point of view. Okay, so don't now from tomorrow onwards start talking people that, oh, you are Kanishta, you are Madhma. No, no, one should not see a pure devotee from such a way. Why? The mother Ganges might sometimes contain bubbles, foam, or mud, but please remember the water of mother Ganges is very, very purifying. Okay, don't you think this is such a powerful verse? Huh? Devotees?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Such a powerful verse, extremely powerful verse. So if you keep on reading the nectar of instruction again and again, you will read this verse. Every time I teach, I read this verse and purport, and it reminds me that, hey, don't see devotee from the ordinary vision. Okay, there might be some defect. That materialistic way of looking at things will make you feel. But remember, although Mother Ganges might have bubbles and foams or mud, but she is always transcendental and purified.
So what's it's basically saying, Prabhuji? It's don't go by the looks, go by the behavior, or in a devotional sense, how devoted that sincerely a devotee is doing devotional service rather than looking at materialistic aspects of a devotee, bodily deformation,
No,
etc.
so this is going to talk about What are the defects, fault that we see in the devotee? You remember the first, the verse that we studied before, what that verse says. That verse is also saying the same thing. Krishneti yasya giritam manasadariyeta. So all of these adhikar, none of these adhikari, they are saying that you should run over them. There is respect that has to be given to everybody, right?
Mhm.
The Kanishta
Yeah.
has to be respected mentally, the Madhama has to be respected by paying obeisances, and Uttama, we seek their association. So none of these adhikaris are being said here that you have to ignore. Okay, you cannot. We should not. So that's the thing being again said here in different way. That tomorrow onward, we don't start seeing people like that. Because know that whatever devotion they have, that devotion can purify. That devotion can help one purify their consciousness. Not to you, maybe you are Madhma Adhikari, but there are other people who can get purified with their association. And overall, the teaching is that always know that these personalities are very dear to Krishna. So if they are dear to Krishna, they should be dear to you. We also. What you were saying, somebody was saying something.
Actually, I was saying, I mean, I think it is more than that and may not be correct. Is um, we should not look at how the people look, but I mean, see the
Never,
behavior.
never. We should not be critical about unless and until. This is the teaching coming from Nectar of Devotion. Okay, unless and until you have a right to correct. So like somebody, Diksha Guru, Siksha Guru, Patpadaska Guru, right? Since you are asking the question, if one has not given you the privilege to serve as a Patpadasa Guru or as a Diksha Guru or as a Siksha Guru, you should not be correcting. Or if sometimes you'll see, devotee will say, Hare Krishna, if you just allow me, can I tell you something? Have you heard people saying like that?
Yes,
Some of the advanced devotee will do that. Hare Krishna Mataji, if you do not mind, can I tell you something? Yeah. The way this thing, sorry, please forgive me. They know that they're saying the right thing. They know that what they are saying is right, but they don't have adhikar. You have not given the adhikar to correct. Then they'll say, sorry, I just wanted a little bit tell you. The way you did this one is not good. Can you please do like that? Sorry, if I have offended you. Have you heard that?
yes, yes,
Yeah. So unless and until you don't have adhikar, but if you have adhikar, if you are somebody Siksha Guru, then you have a Patpadaska Guru or somebody Diksha Guru very clearly chastise. He'll say, don't do that. Because Diksha Guru has full adhikar. He or she is not making, aparad. So what are the fault? Fault is bodily fault. Oh, you are this, you are that. Your color is this, your color is that. You know, you are short, you are long, and all of that thing. Or you are Shudra versus Brahmana. Or some accidental mistakes. Or you may see somebody doing something accidental. You know, Sometimes you might have envy from somebody's exalted position. Oh, why Prabhu is like this? No, Krishna is working with everybody. Just be subservient. Criticizing unnecessarily for no reason. Okay, or see here, advising or unnecessarily correcting. If you have no right, then there is no corrections. You are not supposed to be correcting if somebody has not given you the right. But if somebody comes and asks, Prabhu, can you help me please on this thing? Yes, I can help you. Or if you have, but temple, if you are part of the management, then you have right to correct. A spiritual line of authority and a managerial line of authority. So you might not be on a spiritual line of authority, but managerial line of authority empowers you to correct. So these are the defects that we can see. And what is the remedy? Bodily defect, just overlook. Not only for business. Birth doesn't matter. Shudra can be advanced devotee, Vaishya can be advanced devotee, Kshatriya can be advanced devotee, or Brahmana can be advanced devotee, or Brahmana can be, acting like a Shudra. Like today morning we were studying about Aswathama, material vision, seeing that somebody is very opulent, very educated, I have to put more respect. Not necessarily, right? So these are the advices given that one has to follow to make sure they are not getting caught into the trap of these mistakes. So we'll continue from here. Okay, we'll continue from here. Thank you so much. We'll try to a little bit go faster if you can tackle it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anything before we adjourn? Are you all studying the purport or not?
Yes.
Yeah, please study the purport. The many places what they do that they read the verse, they read the translation, and then the teacher will just share some of their understanding, which is aligned with the purport, and then they are done. If I do like that, I can tell you in 2-3 class I can finish nectar of instruction. And you can become Bhakti Sastri, but you would not really know what is the subject that is being taught in nectar of
Right.
instruction. Huh?
Right.
Yes. So if you are not in RAS, study it very carefully, because later also I can tell you that devotees study only when they have to give the class. I know that. Unless and until you are full-time preacher, you'll be studying only when. But Shastric study happens when we always study, always read, always study, always, prepare for it. That's how it happens.
Yes.
This is all-time business.
Yeah.
Vanchkalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhyayavasya
Vasindhubheva
patitanam
patitanam
pavanebhyo Vaishnavabhyo.
pavanebhyo
Good,
Vaishnavabhyo
very
namo
good attendance today. Thank you so much everybody for joining, and I'll see you next Saturday at 11 o'clock. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Dandavad. Hari
Krishna.
Bol. Hari Bol.
Thank
Hari Bol.
you.
Thank
Hare
you,
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you.